Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sasha, and on this channel, we explore manifestation in the context of African spirituality. So let's get into this video. This will be a really quick one, I would say. It's kind of like a rant as well, just because I'm a little bit frustrated with the lies when it comes to spirituality and the new age spirituality as well. And I really just want to highlight some problems that are there, especially as Black people or African descended people. So have you guys ever noticed that new age spirituality is almost always love and light? Like if you're sad, if you're angry, if you're grieving, so on, just vibrate higher. Just think positive, just say affirmations and realign your chakras, which are also pulled from an ancient spirituality too, but I digress. But no one really wants to talk much about the darkness, about death, about curses, about grief, and about what happens when we die, about what our ancestors knew, about crossing over, about burial rites, about spiritual hygiene as well. It's like there's this big part of the human experience that's just completely erased and edited out of this high vibe, high vibrational, high frequency narrative. And the erasure is like spiritual bypassing. And to be honest with you, it is toxic. Love and light isn't the problem here. It's the overdose of it. And it's the fact that this new age culture will guilt trip you every time you're human. And every time you feel something that's not perfectly peaceful or zen, you're gonna generate bad things, especially in the medium that I'm most interested in and that I teach as well, manifestation. They say that every thought manifests, every feeling and thought together manifests. And, this is absolutely not the case. And this was something I used to believe and I even used to teach as well until I had this cultural awakening of mine. Like, New Age tells us you can't be spiritual and messy. You can't be spiritual and real. But, our ancestors knew better. And in many African spiritual traditions, we cry, we mourn, we consult, we pour offerings, libations, we speak the names of the dead, and we face death head on. We honor the cycles of nature, and we are so connected to nature as well. In our sciences and our cultures, it's all about birth, life, death, and rebirth. But meanwhile, death is taboo in New Age spaces. You don't really mention death until it's talking about past lives. And another thing I want to bring up is how New Age spirituality removed ancestors. Like you'll hear all about spirit guides, angels, and ascended masters. You might even hear about the Pleiadians and the light beings and the star seeds and so on. But nobody's talking about grandma. No one is talking about your great-great-grandfather. No one's talking about the ones whose DNA you carry, the ones who bled and walked and worked and, prayed, affirmed for you to exist. And in our cultures, in our spiritualities, our ancestors are our first spirit guides. So before anything, any crystal, any oracle deck, tarot card, you start with your people, with that connection. These are the ones that are buried in your soil, the ones who still walk beside you. But modern day spirituality wants to give you a really sanitized and globalized, colorblind version where everyone is just energy and nobody has roots. And that is dangerous, and that is giving colonization, just with crystals, basically. And honestly, that is, when I say that, it makes sense because that's what it is. It's a spiritual colonization, like a big buffet of stolen rituals and sacred practices from Indigenous people around the world just thrown in there. And it really does remind me of religion. right? As a former Christian, I know where Christianity comes from, which is absolutely from Kemetic spirituality, right? So it's like they stole our spirituality, they remixed it and made it into a religion, let's say Christianity, and then they forced it upon us while calling our spirituality, evil and satanic. Then when they realized that wasn't working and, the world was waking up, we're waking up, they then took our spirituality and then they remixed it, but not into the religion. They remixed it into the new age. So you see what happens there, right? From religion to new age, like they're trying everything that they can to get us to forget our practices and to get us to really merge into one in like a complete hodgepodge mess of a spirituality. So, that doesn't work for me. Like burn some sage here, chant some Sanskrit there, call on some Kemetic gods, mix it all up, sprinkle some glitter, you're good. Take the history out, take the bloodlines out, because now it's new age, it's ascended, and it's universal for everyone. You leave your culture at the door is what they say. And it's always that same script too. Leave your culture at the door. We are one. There is no such thing as race. Don't bring up ancestry. Don't bring up pain. Just simply love. But then my question would be, how can you love what you refuse to see? How can we heal if we are skipping steps? And that's one thing I love about African spirituality. It doesn't ask you to leave yourself behind. It requires you to remember who you are, to know your lineage, to speak to your ancestors, to understand your role in your family and your community and the universe as well. And it teaches that life is layered and that you are not alone. You are never alone. And death isn't an end. And the spirit world is not just a fantasy thing. It is the reality of life. And, it's not performative. It's not cute aesthetics. It's an identity. It's not an identity that you put on for a retreat or something. It's daily work. It's daily devotion and deep responsibility too. And they want to make everything look so new, but the truth is there's nothing new about it. It's borrowed, it's stripped, repackaged. But one thing I would say is new is the lack of accountability, the refusal to go deeper, and the obsession with feeling good rather than being well. And there is a difference. Feeling good is so temporary, but being well is holistic. And that takes that daily devotion, as I just described. And it's also ancestral and integrated, and it includes your sadness and all your shadows and your anger, your joy, your dreams, and your dead too. So if you are on a spiritual path as a Black person, walk it with eyes open and ask yourself, where did this come from? Who preserved it? Who was punished for practicing it? Whose bones lie under it? And just remember, don't be afraid of the dark. Don't be afraid of the concept of death. And don't be afraid of your roots, because that is where your power lives. Love and light is beautiful. And yes, we should have it, but only when they come with truth and culture and shadow. Only when they honor the whole picture, and our ancestors, they deserve to be a part of that picture too. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I just wanted to rant. Thank you for listening to this big rant. But I will see you guys in the next video. Please like, share, subscribe. I also have my Patreon, Black Girls Who Don't Pray, where we talk about how prayer has kind of distorted the power within ourselves. We were switching our prayers to affirmations and declarations, the real African way to pray. Okay. Thank you guys so much. And I will see you next time.